नया गेम डाउनलोड किया था मैं, स्ले द प्रिंसेस। आई थिंक हॉरर गेम है, लव स्टोरी है, ऐसा कुछ तो। ज़्यादा आइडिया नहीं है, अच्छा लगा नाम तो पढ़ लिया। The hero and the princess.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Oh, parallax effect. ये देखिए इस टाइप का गेम है ये। इस टाइप का गेम है, बस ऐसे स्लाइड्स आएगी और हम आगे आगे चूज करते रहेंगे ऑप्शंस। अच्छा पैरेलैक्स
स्टोरी हो गई ना।
पैरेलैक्स इफेक्ट भी है पीछे देख।
ये
हाँ।
प्रॉपर स्टोरी हो गई।
मतलब इसमें बहुत सारी एंडिंग्स है अपने चॉइसेस के अकॉर्डिंग, ऐसा कुछ तो।
हाँ मतलब फिर वो पूरा गेम है। ये टाइप ऑफ
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
पर हम हीरो हैं, हम नहीं मार सकते। Explore the end of the world. What are you talking about? Have you considered that maybe the only reason she is going to end the world is because she is locked up? Killing a princess seems kind of bad though, doesn't it? ओ इतने सारे भाई ऑप्शन देख रहा है तू हैं? यहाँ से स्टार्ट हो रहा है।
मतलब एक मिनट, इस पे इतनी एंडिंग्स होंगी?
एंडिंग का नहीं, ये तो बस पहला ऑप्शन है अभी तक।
हाँ मतलब
एंडिंग, हाँ काफी सारी एंडिंग होंगी। Can't someone else do this? Forget it. I'm not doing this. Have you considered that maybe I'm okay with the world? Ending. Do I get some sort of reward? Okay, thanks for telling me what to do. Sweet, I always wanted to off a monarch. Viva la revolution. Turn around and leave. I think this one, the only reason she's going to end the world is because she's locked up.
While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock. Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up.
पर क्या हम नरेटर को ट्रस्ट कर सकते हैं?
And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation. Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything. Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
Wait, what? अब इसने मना किया है क्वेश्चन पूछने को तो। हाँ क्या चाहिए? पैन? पैन तेरे को ठंड लग रही है तो बंद कर दे, नहीं तो मेरे को तो चलेगा। एक कम कर दे या फिर yes, this I'm okay with the...
Of course I haven't. Why would I even consider that? Nobody maybe some people do. Nihilists or very, very evil people, but surely you're not one of those, right?
Maybe.
I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
कि मतलब ये एक्सप्लोर वाले ऑप्शन से कुछ होगा नहीं, बस पता चलेगा हमें स्टोरी के बारे में.
Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you.
मेरे को डर लग रहा है, इतने क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा तो नैरेटर परेशान हो जाएगा हमसे, लेकिन पूछ
Look,
लेता हूँ.
you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey. Does it? Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse than slaying a fisherman or a miller or a seamstress? If anything, slaying a princess is much better than slaying a seamstress. Seamstresses contribute something of value to society.
True. Chalo, I'm convinced. And I'll talk to her, and if she's as bad as you say she is, then maybe I'll stay her, but I'm not committing to anything until I have the chance to meet her face to face. Okay, thanks for telling me what to do. रिवॉर्ड वाला क्या ही पूछूं, मेरे को नहीं चाहिए रिवॉर्ड.
Then I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hear her out, she could easily trap you in her web of lies. And the more you listen to her honeyed words, the harder it'll be to pull yourself out. Then each and every one of us is doomed. So sure, go. Talk to her. See how that turns out for all of us. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within.
ऐसे घर में क्यों है princess?
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
No option.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade.
मेरा डिसीजन डिपेंड करेगा प्रिंसेस दिखती कैसी है उस पे.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Take the blade. No. क्या पता वो ब्लेड देख के ट्रस्ट ना करें हम पे और बात ना करें, सीधा वर्ल्ड एंड कर दें.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
ना, इसकी आवाज से तो नहीं लग रहा है ये वर्ल्ड एंड कर सकती है.
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
मैं भी हो रहा हूँ फिर तो मैनिपुलेट. Just checking in on you. I'm here to save you. अच्छा, I'm here to save you. Actually में बोल सकते हैं और lie भी कर सकते हैं. I think I'm here to slay you. I'm just checking on you.
You are? It's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
See what I can do. Okay, let's stop.
Okay. Oh.
She pauses, carefully formulating her words before she responds.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness. Or you can just call me Princess if Your Royal Highness is too formal.
ऐसा बेसमेंट में बंदे होने के बाद भी अपने प्रिंसेस वाला बोल ही नहीं है.
Is Princess her name or her title? What if it's both? Could you imagine being named Princess Princess?
I think what you. Yeah.
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
This is the only time this is ever going to happen, but I agree with the princess. That's hardly relevant.
क्यों भाई?
Okay, but actually, what has she been eating? She has to eat, right?
झूठ बोल रही है. लग रहा है मुझे. Your apparently supposed to end the world. What are you going to do? Yes, this question.
The princess hesitates before responding. She doesn't know. She's been down here too long to have any idea of what she'd do in another life. She knows what she'd do. She's just searching for whatever answer she thinks you want to hear.
Are you looking for the truth, or are you looking for the right answer? Because with the dynamic we have going on here, I don't think the specifics of what I do really matter. It's not like you'd believe me. Like I said, you can call me Princess if you'd like. I'm sorry, I've been down here so long, I guess I've just forgotten. I must have a name, though. Everyone has a name.
अच्छा भूल गई बेचारी. मुझे लगा.
Okay, that's weird. She hadn't even thought to pick a name for herself. Hopefully, you're starting to see that she can't be trusted. Go back upstairs, get the blade, and slay her before it's too late.
Of course I'm locked up down here for a reason. I don't actually know what that reason is, but you don't just stuff a princess in a basement and throw away the key without there being some sort of an explanation, right?
You have all the explanation you need. You should know better than to trust whatever she comes up with.
कुछ ज़्यादा ही obvious लग रहा है अब तो कि end ही करेगी ये word. पर सेव करने का ट्राई करता हूँ मैं, क्योंकि शायद अच्छी हो. क्या बताइए? Moving to get your purpose. ये पूछो तो. अच्छा इसका मुंह देख के तो यही बोलने का मन कर रहा है.
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I've been down here for so long.
हाँ 9 9:30. 9:30 होता.
That's... How long has she been
अरे
locked
मैंने
away?
पढ़ ही नहीं पाया यार. Previous कहाँ से जाऊँ?
Did they tell you how I'm supposed to end the world?
I was hoping you'd tell me. No, but I'm sure.
I don't know how to destroy the world, if that's what you're getting at.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
ये भी true है.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. I don't trust that. And I don't think you do either, or you wouldn't have come down here to talk.
She has a point. We're talking like this for a reason.
So this shouldn't be about what I'd do if I got out of here, or me saying the right thing to convince you to save me. This is about how messed up this whole situation is. This is my life we're talking about. Do you really think I can even end the world? Why would I even want to? We both know that if there's people we can't trust in this situation, it's whoever locked me down here, and it's whoever sent you here. And those two groups are probably one and the same.
Don't let her turn the tables here. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch, no less.
Kind of एक friend ने जो मुझे कहा था उसके जैसा लग रहा है इसकी story भी. I won't kill you, but I can't set you free. It's too risky. What if I stayed for a while and just... Just like my friend. कहाँ पे option? This...
You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making a huge mistake. No, you're doing the right thing.
अच्छा, voice of the hero कोई और है क्या? हाँ, मतलब हमारा character नहीं है जो हम play कर रहे हैं.
Walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy. Far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
इसी से पूछ लेता हूँ.
Maybe there's some way to break the chains? Or if that doesn't work, I guess we can always cut me out of them.
Cut me out of them?
She offers the suggestion with almost complete nonchalance. If we were stuck down here long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant about cutting our way out if it meant we could finally be free.
मैंने एक मांगा पढ़ी थी अभी थोड़े दिन पहले ही, थोड़े दिन क्या महीने हो गए अब तो. उसके अंदर वो चेन से बंधा हो रहता है तो वो भी अपने हाथ काट के चले जाता है अपने कोई
You
फैमिली
attempt
वालों
to
को
make your
बताने.
way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place.
हम भी बंद हो गए.
Is someone else here? You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. Your shouts and pleas are met. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done. You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf.
What? अब मैं अपने डिसीजन को रिग्रेट कर रहा
As
हूँ.
she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that.
I think गेम इतना ट्राई कर रहा है इसे इतना बुरा दिखाने का, तो रिवर्स साइकोलॉजी से मेरे को लग रहा है अच्छी हो गई है. तो सेव.
Fine. Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit. She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal. No, she didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
मुझे ही मारेगी ना यार निकल के.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let her escape into the world. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and
What?
raises the blade.
मैं तो चूज भी नहीं किया ये.
Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that.
भाई
Watch me.
What are you doing?
बाप रे. एक ही ऑप्शन है वो ऑन करने का.
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it! Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive. The blade! Move the blade! As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands.
हम क्या
Are you doing?
हम क्या वेयरवुल्फ टाइप है क्या कुछ इतने लंबे नाखून.
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
I'll try to be quick. क्या मारने वाली है क्या ये हमें?
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. For her sake? Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
इतना बुरी तरह से मारने की जरूरत नहीं थी.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry
She
और बोल
doesn't
रही
hardly
है.
use a knife, does she? Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her knife work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks. It can't just end like this, right? Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of you made your choice. It's over. Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her.
Chapter 2 hai ye to.
A terrible sense of déjà vu. No, you don't have that. This is the first time either of us have been here. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Yes, he didn't approve of us last time, did he? If we're going to save our beloved, we'll have to be sneaky about it.
Voice of the smitten.
Our beloved? Yes, you'll have to be very sneaky about your intentions if you're going to try and save the princess. Ah, so all of the cards are on the table. Then you should know that we and the princess are in love, and the four of us will be foiling any and all assassination attempts you've got in the works. We'll see about that. Whatever you do, just be sure to ignore him specifically. It sounds like he's the sort who'd sacrifice the whole world for a peck on the cheek. What can I say? A world without love is a world that isn't worth saving. We could go back and forth on this forever, and it won't get you any closer to doing your job and saving the world. So let's just agree to disagree.
Let's assume I'm telling the truth and all of this really did already happen. Why should I listen to you?
Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. If you're back here, I'm assuming you died, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me. You were the one who did us in, villain. Well, not you in the literal sense, but you did everything you could to stop us from rescuing her. Oh, I wonder why. Maybe it's because the entire world was at stake. No lone princess is worth that price. I beg to differ. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to take a deep breath and assume that whoever is making the decisions here has the common sense to ignore your protestations. Anyway, I believe your second question was, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. You forced the princess to kill us, and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself? Or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died? Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end to everyone and everything, just like I told you she would? She would never. She's a perfect angel that you cruelly imprisoned as part of some convoluted, dastardly scheme.
ये तो कुछ ज़्यादा ही प्यार में आ गया भाई उसमें. स्मिटन मतलब शायद हम ही थे.
Convoluted.
खुद एक
I don't know how this premise could be any more simple. Princess bad, stop her, save everyone. Just be quick about it. She just can. Believe me, I wish I could tell you more, but you'll just have to trust that what I'm saying is true, and that, despite it all, you're fully up to the task that's been given to you. Maybe it's her beauty that threatens the world.
इसकी बात सुन के मुझे मारने का मन कर रहा है.
Sure, it's her beauty. Why not? And before you ask, no, we can't just keep her down there. If you don't slay her, she's going to find a way out. It's unfortunate, I know, but it's just the way it is. people locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
और इससे मुझे एक वो एनीमे याद आया, तो उसके अंदर भी ऐसा होता है कि मतलब मरने का टाइम रिवाइंड हो जाता है अपना, तो उसे भी लगता है कि मतलब मर भी जाएंगे तो कोई कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस नहीं है उसके, तो मतलब बाद में उसे मतलब ऐसे नाइटमेयर टाइप आते हैं उस वर्ल्ड के जिसके अंदर वो मर गया था और उसकी वजह से क्या क्या हुआ था, मतलब सब दिखाते हैं कि हाँ तेरे एक्शन से क्या क्या हुआ था, तब उसे पता चलता है कि मतलब बिना मतलब के मतलब बस रिग्रेट होता है उसे बहुत सारी चीज़ों का अपना, मतलब कि सब कॉन्सिक्वेंस फ्री भी नहीं है.
Look, I'm not supposed to say this, but it's because you're special. You're the only person capable of doing this. Call it a prophecy, if that helps, but it's just the way things are. Oh, I didn't know we were special. Of course you're special. Why else would you be here?
Calling us special isn't going to make us friends, even if it did feel nice. Oh, believe me, the last thing...
The last thing I want is for you and I to be friends, but I'm a professional and I'm not going to let my dislike for you get in the way of helping you save the world. तो उस मिटन तो मेरे को भी पसंद नहीं है बिल्कुल.
I've told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult. Not to sound like a broken record, but the less you know about her, the better things will go for all of us. I know it sounds like I'm hiding something, but you're just going to have to take me at my word. Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
Proceed to cabin. Make some turn around and leave. Then cabin चलते हैं.
A warning before you go in. She will lie, she will cheat.
We already told you we're not playing along with your little game. It's your lies that can't be trusted. Her beauty is the only thing in the world we can believe in.
I think we've already been over this. I'm pretty sure he just likes the sound of his own voice.
I do, but I also speak from the heart. My passions are too great to be stifled. They must be expressed.
Sure, yeah, your passions are strong and all, but not everyone needs to hear them. Some things are better kept quiet. Don't pay their bickering any mind. The interior of the cabin is clean and elegant, its stone walls draped in fine threaded tapestries, a prison befitting a royal. The blade is your implement.
इस बार मिरर भी है ना, जहाँ अलग है.
That's because there isn't a mirror. There's a table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. There isn't.
I'm sure the princess would tell us there was a mirror if she were up here.
In which case she'd be lying to you because, again, there isn't a mirror.
I want to see how handsome I am. You lie about my mind.
Exactly. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? Let you waste time preening yourself instead of doing what needs to be done. Very different.
Is it? I can't say I was paying much attention to the scenery last time around.
Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly... So focus up. Stop letting yourself get distracted.
Mirror है तो देखते हैं उसे.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here.
It's a wall.
This really isn't funny. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But it was there a second ago.
And now it's gone. Pity. We could have a feather out of place and now we'll never know. We can't gallantly sweep her off her feet if we have a feather out of place.
चला गया मेरा oh no. Take the blade.
You take the blade from the table. It will be difficult.
I suppose if we're to play the role of dashing knight, we need an equally dashing sword. That way she'll know we can defend her from her enemies.
Hopefully it doesn't put her on edge, and hopefully it doesn't get turned on us.
हाँ यही सोच के
Again.
पिछले बार नहीं लेके गया था मैं.
There's no use arguing over motivations right now. It's good that you took the blade. You'll need it to do your job. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an intricate stairwell. Gold-trimmed carpet glimmers in the light of the torches positioned, but it's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. A soft voice carries up the...
Hello? Is someone there?
Her voice, it's somehow even more beautiful than last time. I can hear wedding bells already. I've held my tongue till now, but you're taking this a little too far. We barely even know the princess. We can still do right by her without all this over-the-top fawning.
Yes, for everyone's sake, you're not in love. Just remember that her charms are all part of the manipulation. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the...
My love! We're here to rescue you from your unjust and...
You know she can't hear you, right?
She may not be able to hear my words, but surely she can hear my spirit.
Oh, your spirit's plenty loud, all right.
It's you, my dashing hero. I was so worried you wouldn't come back.
ये भी चेंज हो गई.
Did you hear that? She said we're dashing.
And she called us a hero. Flattery really goes a long way with the two of you, doesn't it?
That's right,
अरे
villain. And
मिस
you
कर दिया.
killed us. Well, she killed us. Only because he made us try and kill her. It was self-defense. Our beloved's hands remain unstained by cruelty.
And you've died before. So an entire world has been damned to oblivion. I'd really hoped I'd be the first, but what's done is done. What matters is you have a chance to do it right this time.
Now, hold on. If she actually ended a world, are you sure we want to do this? Are you sure we want to rescue her? We never saw a world end, and now I'm even more certain that we must chase our heroic and romantic destiny than I've ever been. I shan't let anyone convince us otherwise.
Nah, ये इतना बोल रहा
Are
है
you
इसमें
listening to him? He's lost it. Don't
बचाने
let
का
him
मन ही नहीं
distract
कर
you.
रहा.
Just do your job.
Yes, I'll do my job. मैं पूछ लेता हूँ.
I'm sorry. Didn't you want me to?
हाँ.
Did we?
We warned her of the cruel forces seizing our body. That's practically telling her to kill us. She is our beloved, and she made the choice to free us of our misery, to show us mercy and make the best decision for it.
She made the best decision for her. Don't be so quick to assign kindness. You're just opening yourself up to manipulation.
Do I have to get you out again?
You died, and now we're talking.
ना ये तो झूठ बोल रही है.
I don't know. Was I supposed to have ended the world? Would that have made you happy?
Isn't that just like our darling princess? She wants to make us happy. My heart melts further with every...
Are you listening to her? That's a confession.
No, I don't.
Then I didn't end the world.
See? She didn't confess anything. She is innocence itself.
मुझे ये बोलना चाहिए था कि I want the world to end. तब वो बोल देती.
I'm okay with whatever you come up with. You can cut my arm off again.
We won't be laying a finger on her perfect wrists, and indeed, we won't even have to. Do you see how dainty her hands are? We'll be able to slip her right out with no harm done.
What? No, she's a prisoner here. You You can't just slip her hand through the chains. Why are you two arguing over the logistics of slipping her hand out of her shackles? She just said she'd be okay with any idea we came up with. Am I the only one here who thinks that's weird?
She didn't care last time. Why should she care this time? That's our stoic, smiling angel.
इसे चुप कराओ पहले तो.
No, you're right. It's extremely bizarre behavior and further evidence that she's a monster who's not to be trusted. So go ahead and slay her.
Slay.
Blade in hand, you run the princess.
Wait, no! You barbarian, what do you think you're doing?
But you ignore the pleas of the foolish little voice and press on. The princess's eyes grow wide with terror as you approach, but she does absolutely nothing to stop you. Your blade pierces her heart. She collapses
नहीं.
pathetically to the ground.
रो रही है बेचारी. कुछ किया भी नहीं इसने बच्चों
I'm
ने.
sorry. Did I do something wrong?
No, my love, you did nothing wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not you.
I'm going to die now. I think that's what you want.
And just like that, she's dead. And the world is saved. Thank you for seeing this through. I know it must have been difficult.
I feel sick. Sick? You took part in the murder of the fairest creature that's ever lived. And you merely feel sick. I, for one, am absolutely distraught. Grief-stricken. Inconsolable.
You'll get over it. You just saved everyone.
Get over it? You smarmy
अब ये
ass.
खुद ही को मार देगा
There's
क्या?
nothing in the world worth getting over it for. We might as well just end it all.
Nah.
Raise the blade, aiming the point directly towards your heart. Excuse me? No, you absolutely do not do that. Yeah, let's not make any rash decisions. We should give ourselves a minute, take a deep breath, and...
Rash. The only rash decision we've made was running our cursed blade through her heart. This is far from rash. This is measured. This is the only thing left for us to do now that she's gone.
If that's what you want to do, let's see what happens. No.
Exactly, you're not doing this.
All of you may have previously thought that my passions were too great to stifle, but those were merely passions of joy. My passions of sorrow run deeper than the ocean itself, and you'll find that they are far more unstifleable. Haven't you? Haven't you all?
I don't believe this. What? What don't you believe? You plunge the blade into your own heart and collapse to the floor. You can't be serious. Why are you helping him?
Huh?
I'm not. He just made it happen.
That's right. You're all sorry.
Everything goes dark, and you die.
फिर वापस आएंगे. The Grave. पहले
You're
चैप्टर का
on
नाम
a
क्या था?
path.
तो चेंज हो गया इस बार.
You horrid monster. Do you think just because we've returned to the woods you've earned my forgiveness? Our beloved had best be alive and well when we return to the cabin, or you'll never know the end of my wrath.
She won't be alive and well when we return to that cabin, because she's dead. We killed her.
जिस भी कैरेक्टर मतलब जैसे भी खेलेंगे उसकी वॉइसेस आने लगे गेम में.
Killed her, and so I killed you.
And you clearly didn't do a good enough job. I'm still here.
Oh, and I'm still here too. If you lot get to be blessed with seemingly eternal life, that must mean she's still there, waiting for us to throw ourselves at her feet in remorse.
I doubt it. I think I'm better at killing than you are.
So you've been here before. Of course you've been here before. What count is it this time? 2?
It's our third.
Your open discussion. I couldn't care less what he knows. Every second we stand around arguing in the woods is a second that I'm anxiously worrying about her. Take us to the cabin and take us there now. With each passing moment, our relationship may be damaged even further, though I fear the rift between us may already be permanent.
उसका वॉइस एक्टर काफी अच्छा है.
And if it is permanent, then what? You'll kill.
Oh, you just wait and see.
My vengeance will echo the depths of my bereavement. Don't provoke him. I prefer if we didn't die again. I'm not fond of dying. Why not? You've already done it twice. It was unpleasant. It was only unpleasant because you think it's supposed to be unpleasant. I'll make you feel what I feel if it's the last thing I do. And mark my words, you won't like it when it happens. Oh, how exciting. I'd love to see you try. Can I? Well, I'm not just going to try. I'm going to actually do it. I'm looking forward to it. Good. I am. Can I talk now? Yes, I can. Great. Now that you're listening, let me remind you that if you're here in the woods, it means that the princess is not dead, and that her very existence currently poses a direct threat to the entire world. I'll believe that when I see her living body. Did I hear that right? He says she's alive. Our beloved lives. Yes, she's alive. But you're going to have to make her not alive. You'll have to slay her. It's your job.
अभी मारा तो था, क्या फायदा हुआ उसका, वापस आ गया
We
था.
absolutely will not. This is a tale of love and redemption, and this time it will not end in bloodshed. Except ours, if any of you try anything. Let's do our best to keep him away from anything sharp. If we're lucky, there won't even be a blade when we get to the cabin. If this isn't the same path in the woods you're used to, that means that her influence is already spreading and you're running out of time. Wait, but if her influence is spreading, that means there's hope. That means our beloved is waiting. Yes, I already told you. Don't mind him. I don't think he's doing too well. I'm doing better than any of you. I'm doing great. She's alive. Influence doesn't require life. But if things restarted, why wouldn't she be alive? Who said they restarted? All they've done is changed. I shan't listen to the vile mutterings of you serpents. Onward! Our living, breathing princess awaits us. She'll find a way out eventually and the world will still end. The only way this resolves is if you find her and slay her before that happens. Again, he makes her out to be a monster. I'm tired of all this slander. She's never hurt anyone in her life except for us. And that was our fault. We don't know that. She could have done all sorts of things we weren't around to see. Turn around and leave. Go to the cabin. I'm fine with either. So long as we don't just do the same thing again. That would be boring.
I'm the one in charge of this.
Oh, it's clear, you murderer. Though I should remind you that you're not as in charge as you seem to think you are. I'm sure his outburst last time was just a fluke. I wouldn't worry about him. Besides, if he kills us again, he kills us again. It doesn't matter. He'll tire out eventually. The flame of passion always burns out in this. Spoken like a true cynic. Enough bickering. Just stay focused and get to the cabin.
Next time seems like all in the cabin would. मुझे अब वापस जाके भी देखना है. मुझे शायद कुछ
Can't run from your consequences forever. One way or another, you'll have to face what you've done. Let's see what we can find. It's bound to be more interesting than doing the same thing over again. Wait, something isn't right. Can you still hear me? You're supposed to wind up the cabin. What's going on? Where are we? I don't know. But it feels like home. Of course, oblivion is what we deserve.
अच्छा वर्ल्ड एंड हो ही गई मतलब. This vessel is full of units. This is a nightmare. Wake up, Empress. The thoughts constructing you. No, wake up. What?
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cab. You're here to...
वापस गेम स्टार्ट हो गया.
Yes, but you'll have to slay her. Are you serious? No, you have to do it.
अगर मैं पहले ही टर्न अराउंड लीव कर देता.
Seriously? You're just going to... Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin. Good. What we're being asked to do here is wrong. Better to wash our hands of this whole situation than to take part in it. Ignore that annoying little voice. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. How convenient. Everything's back on track again. Maybe the world can still be saved after all.
Turn around again and
You're
leave.
really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. If you don't do your job, everyone dies. Like, dies.
I don't care.
Killing is such a gauche phrasing and completely ignores the bigger picture. Your task is to slay the princess because she's terrible and she's really got it coming to her. But fine, you turn around and trek back down the path you came.
वापस वहीं पे.
Oh, would you look at that? You're at the cabin again. Now, I'm not normally one for superstition or astrology, but I have... There's
जाना ही पड़ेगा
always a
शायद.
choice. But let me tell you right now that you're making the correct decision for pretty much everything. We can't just go through with this and listen to him. She's a princess. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air, the blade is your...
इस बार पहले ले रहा हूँ. फिर उस मिटन नहीं मार पाएगा मैं.
You take the blade from the table. The door to the basement creaks her voice.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down
चेंज हो गया इस बार वापस.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
कुछ नहीं बोलूँगा मैं.
You're still listening to reason. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something? That isn't a good idea. Just drop the knife, and maybe the two of us can talk things out.
No.
She's right, we shouldn't. We should just drop the blade. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster. Killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
अब तो देखना है मुझे क्या होगा.
You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you scared of me? Because you should be.
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
Oh? No talking then? Fine. What even makes you think you can kill me? I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late.
मरेंगे हम तो मरेंगे पक्का.
You go into this expecting to die, you're going to die.
Hesitating? Why don't you drop the knife and the two of us? Then I'm not talking to you.
You charge the princess, blade trembling in your hand, but you've already lost the battle.
हाँ.
She casually sidesteps your thrust before knocking you to the ground with a single blow from her elbow.
We shouldn't have hesitated.
But she doesn't stop there. She kicks you a few times for good measure, the pointed tip of her shoes feeling like a pickaxe against your fracturing bones, making as you lie, crushed and broken on the basement floor. The princess kneels on your throat, with the kind of weight you didn't think her slight frame could possibly possess. As you gasp for air, she eyes you with an intent. You shouldn't have let that fear creep into your heart. You had the upper hand, and now look at you.
Is this really the best you could do? Look at you. Completely broken. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed.
She applies more pressure, slowly squeezing what's left of your life out of your lungs. This is the end, isn't it? I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and you die.
अपना मरना कांस्टेंट है. अच्छा चैप्टर का नाम भी चेंज हो गया, द टावर.
You're on a path in the woods. You're here to slay her.
वापस वॉइस ऑफ कोल्ड
If you don't, it will be the end of the world. It hasn't. Or if it has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met for the first time, you and I. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. What does it matter what he knows? There's nothing we can do to stop her. She's just going to kill us again. She is not going to kill you unless you let her. But slaying the princess and saving the world is going to be much more difficult than it has to be if you spend the whole time second-guessing yourself. Those are two very different questions, but let's say for a moment that you died. Of course we died. We couldn't land a single blow on her, and she broke every bone in our body before she decided to let us die. What were we supposed to do to stop her then? What are we supposed to do to stop her now? It's pointless. She's just a princess. Slaying her shouldn't have been difficult, but congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right. And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of... What do you mean? Of course there weren't any... Yes, but in this pure... If it's the latter, do you think the people there... If she ended the entire world, why should we even bother? We might as well just walk up to that cabin, break her chains and let her do whatever she wants. It's all the same in the end. Just because she's capable of ending the world doesn't mean you're not capable of slaying her. Both of those things can be true at the same time. So chin up. I believe in you. Just be quick about it.
She killed me last time. How can I make sure that doesn't happen again?
Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me. Don't talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job, and save the world. She just can. We're not. We might as well just pledge ourselves to her and stop pretending that we're capable of doing anything in this situation. She probably doesn't even need to try to overpower us. Can we tone down the pessimism just a smidge? I'm not being a pessimist. I'm just being realistic.
Smitten से तो काफी अच्छा है ये.
You're being annoying. Just ignore their bickering, and whatever you do, don't pledge yourself to her. I cannot stress enough how absolutely catastrophic. Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated...
Proceed to the cabin.
A warning. She will lie. Lying? Cheating? Why would she even bother? She didn't need to do anything like that last time.
हाँ, इस बार चैप्टर 1 था तो तब देख लेती है वो हम नाइफ लाते या नहीं लाते और उसके अकॉर्डिंग एक्ट करती है अभी।
She caught us off guard last time. We'll be fine. Let's just keep our wits about us. At least one of you still has a shred of sense. Just make sure you listen to him and not that whiner. If that's what you want, I guess I don't have a say here. The interior of the cabin is larger and more grandiose than its humble exterior would suggest. The only furniture of note is a massive marble altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
मिरर फिर से नहीं बोला इसने।
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want. Why do we feel so small? We don't feel small. We are small. Maybe that's because you haven't actually... You walk up to the wall next to the base. What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. You reach forward and rub your hand against... We should count ourselves lucky. Some things are better left unseen.
हाँ हम दिखते कैसे हैं वो भी नहीं पता। हाथों से तो कोई जानवर से लग रहे हैं। Again, take the blade.
Take the blade from the altar. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon.
अब ये तो पता ही है एंड कर रही है वर्ल्ड। फुल्ली ट्राई करेंगे उसे मारने का।
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a spiral staircase. Its steps almost as deep as you are tall. The smell of incense drifts up from below. For a moment, you almost feel at ease. This is actually kind of nice. It's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
ये तो फिक्स है इसका बोलना।
Her booming voice rolls up the stairs.
Is that a guest I hear? Don't linger on the stairs. Come down and witness me.
हाय ये तो
You weren't kidding
Dar
when you
hai
said
na.
it was booming. She wasn't like this last time. We need to get down there. She wants us to see her. We need to see her. Should we be worried about your sudden change in attitude? Just a few minutes ago you were going on about how pointless everything was. Now you want to go down there. It doesn't matter what that little voice says. He's not the one making the decisions. Though if his ramblings get you to the princess, they get you to the princess. Making your way down the spiral staircase is a time-consuming and exhausting effort, every step requiring you to clamber over one edge before
इसी
dropping
के
to
जैसे
the
मरेंगे
next.
अब। हम
But
सीढ़ियों से
soon
थक
the end
जाएंगे
comes
फिर
into view, and you tumble to the bottom, entering the vast, temple-like room beyond. The princess towers over you, almost glowing in the weak starlight, her figure framed by a stained glass window. Her long hair billows around her, and a chain binds her wrist to the far wall. The chain is nothing to her. It might as well be a toy for all the good it would do. I told you it was pointless to resist her.
The little bird has returned to me. I wonder what he wants.
इसे तो मारने का कोई फायदा
You
नहीं।
brought that knife again, even though you know it's useless. Such charming audacity. Drop it.
तो टाइटन करके भी क्या ही कर लेंगे, मार तो पाएंगे नहीं वैसे भी।
The blade slips from your fingers and clatters uselessly to the floor. We didn't have to do that. And yet you did. She's so much more than us. You wouldn't understand what it feels like to be in her presence. Oh, I understand what's going on, and you'd better snap yourself out of it.
Kneel.
अब ज़्यादा हो रहा है। No.
But the words don't leave your mouth. Instead, your legs buckle and your knees hit the floor.
That's my good little bird. Now, why don't we talk? The last time we met, you couldn't even scratch me. And yet here you are again, trying to succeed where you've already catastrophically failed. What draws you back here beyond the empty halls of death? Speak.
The last time we met? I suppose that lends credence to our conversation in the woods. Still, whatever you do, don't tell her why you're here. It's best not to give her any ideas.
Remain silent.
Do you think holding shut your beak is enough to stop me from prying it open? Do you think your skull can save your thoughts from being seen?
अब लग रहा है ये हॉरर गेम.
Can she do that? There's nothing she can't do.
Meekness, despair, but a hint of something more. A small taste of stubborn resistance. A grain in the storm of my cosmic wind. Enough to be felt, but not enough to matter. And there it is. I am destined to end the world. Something about that thought wraps itself around my heart. It feels like a fundamental truth to my being that I'd somehow forgotten. The collapse of the old is a necessary prelude to the birth of the new. And the world as it is now is overdue for alterations. It's time for me to seize my destiny. And you, little bird, will help me seize it.
She's inevitable. There's nothing else for us to do but help her. Maybe she'll be nice to us.
What would you have me do? What do you have planned? What happened to you after that time? What would you have me do?
All you have to do is break these chains and set me free.
Don't be rude. Of course she can. It's not rude to question someone who's apparently trying to end the world. That's exactly why it's rude. We should know our place.
I can, easily. But that isn't what I want to do. The story of a terrible and bountiful god unbounded of her own will is no story at all. It's not worthy of everything I am, or everything I'm bound to become. It isn't even worthy of what I was. The destruction in Genesis that's to follow in my wake is deserving of a song that can echo for eternity. The song of you, being so struck by my glory, so overwhelmed by what I am, that you feel you must deliver me into the world. And from your act of utter devotion and submission springs a new dawn, a better dawn. Submit now, submit later. It makes no difference. Because in the end, no matter how vainly you struggle against know the limits of your privilege, little bird. There's an empty place at my side for you to fill, if you'll have it. But it is not a place for an equal. It is a place for something worthy to be kept. A priest, perhaps. Or a pet.
पेट बन के तो नहीं रहेंगे हम.
This isn't about desire. This is about what I am. And I have little interest in discussing destiny with one that cannot see the divine truth.
I'm not going to help you in the world.
I say, perhaps you need another lesson in submitting to your betters. Pick up that needle.
Do it. It's what she wants. No objections here. Don't know what she's planning, and I don't like that we don't know what she's planning, but we might as well pick up the blade. As your eye falls on the blade, you feel
खुद ही को
a
मरवाएगी
weight.
यार.
Some divine hand that sits unperceived by your senses, but that manages to push you towards its desires like an unseen puppeteer. You reach forward and grasp the...
Stand!
This one's easy. See? This isn't so bad.
Okay, yeah. We can do that. We were probably going to stand anyway.
I'm going to kneel here forever.
You can feel a creaking tension between body and will as you slowly rise to your feet, like two foes forced into an unhappy truce. The princess eyes you with soft contemplation. The moment seems to last a lifetime. The silent
To defy me is to claim we stand on level ground. We do not. You are quiet, Shadow. While I take that knife in your hand and slit your throat.
What?
पता ही था मुझे.
You don't have to listen to her. You're armed. Just steel your nerves, step forward, and end this.
ये end this तो भाई खुद को end कर देगा.
Oh, we'll end this all right.
Your hand lifts the blade and brings it towards your throat. Okay, I apologize for the unclear language. End her.
वही. अरे option नहीं है कोई.
No, you can't just slay yourself. You're perfectly healthy and capable, and all you have to do is ignore her and do what has to be done. The blade and the hand that wields it remain firmly locked in place until you change your mind and decide to do literally anything else.
Look at you quaking against my will. An ant defying a god. It's pointless to resist. In the end, everything submits to oblivion. But you're not the one resisting me, are you? There's something else in there. Is that a person? No, it used to be a person. It's something different now. An echo.
Is she talking about you?
Narrator.
That's impossible. She's not supposed to be able to interact with me.
You're a small one, aren't you? A shriveling little worm stretched beyond its limits, trying to control things that it can't understand.
No. What are you talking about? I'm just...
I don't care what you are. You're mine.
Ah! You bring the blade to your neck. You slice through soft flesh, severing veins and arteries. Your blood flowing freely down your body. It's a painful lesson in obedience, but the pain won't last forever.
Narrator की आवाज उससे mix हो गई है.
No.
When I see you again, you'll free me from my chains and deliver me to the destiny that lies.
We will. I promise.
I know you will.
Everything goes dark,
And
you die. You're on a path in the woods. At the end of that path,
Oh, let me guess. At the end of that path is a cabin.
Excuse me? This is the third time we've been here, and this is hardly a path in the woods. It's all big and weird.
Another witness to her radiance. Her hour is soon upon us.
I'm here to keep him in check. I'm sick of prying fingers digging around in our head, and he's making it all too easy for them to get in.
तो वॉइस ऑफ पैरानॉइड भी आ गया.
This is bad. Oh, is it now? I hadn't noticed. Do you need a primer, Mr. Amnesiac? No, I'm quite all right, but if all of you would take a moment to settle down, there's something important I'd like to get up.
Is it about the princess? We already know all.
Not to be trusted, that one.
No, I mean, yes, it's about the princess, but whatever you think I'm going to say, it's probably not.
You're not to be trusted either.
Look, fine, just out with it already, yeah? But if I hear the words, "You're here to slay her," or "If you don't, it will be the end of the world," you'll have lost speaking privileges. You're going to hear some of those words, but not all of them. Definitely not all in that order.
I'm interested.
Really?
I know. It's probably a bunch of lies, but even lies have a kernel of truth to them.
You two are just wasting your time. It's all going to end when we open that cabin door.
Okay, that nonsense he's going on about, that's what we need to talk about. You've been here before, obviously.
So you have met us. Because boy, were you in denial about that last time.
No, I haven't met you, but reality is clearly falling apart at the moment, and the only reason that would happen is if you knew things you weren't supposed to know. What? What the hell are you talking about? He's talking about those weird marble trees and how wrong everything looks. Yes, exactly. Whatever you did before gave her far too much power. So you've got to cut it out, get to that cabin and slay her before things get any more out of hand. We gave her power. Why didn't you ever tell us we could do that? We probably would have gone about things very differently if we knew that.
We've built a new god, and she is limitless.
Are our thoughts doing that? Make her small, make her small, make her small, make her small. Shit! What if I'm doing it wrong? What if I'm making her even stronger? Do you hear those two with their runaway thoughts? I'm only giving you the sliver of information I'm giving you now because things are already deep in the shitter. This was my last card to play, and it looks like it's already made things worse. So hurry, cabin.
हाँ, मतलब जिस वे में हम एक्ट करते हैं वो भी वैसी हो जाती है. तो हम ये करेंगे पहले अच्छे से, मतलब ट्राई कर चुके हैं, लेकिन हम मतलब हमने फिर खुद ही को मार दिया. उससे भी कुछ
And
हुआ
right
नहीं.
now you have neither the time nor the mental acuity to handle a single response. It's as you finish your inane question, the ground quakes beneath your feet. You feel an unyielding force pulling at you and your surroundings. The trees start to sway and then crumble, breaking apart as everything is drawn towards the cabin. Even the earth beneath you seems to shift, your feet unable to grip solid ground as you're dragged forward along with everything else.
The end of everything. The beginning of something new. The moment we open that door, she will be free.
Stop believing everything you hear. We just have to get our thoughts in order. We just have to think straight.
Any, words of warning?
You already know everything you need to know. As you step forward, the cabin explodes. You're flung backwards, violently slamming into a tree as debris rains down around you. You watch in paralyzed awe and terror as the princess emerges, her body unfurling from some vast space as she stands upright to face you. The world bows to her. The ruined landscape shifts, trees and stone and the ground itself succumbing to her gravity, orbiting her like a great black hole.
Finally, the little bird has set me free. This is always how it was going to end. And this is always how it was going to begin.
अच्छा, तो मतलब बार बार जब रीसेट हो रहा है, ये यही कर रही है.
There's a loud thunk from the tree behind you as something embeds in its shattered bark. Your pristine blade. It's now or never.
नरेटर को तो बस मारने की पड़ी है.
Yeah, screw all of this. I'm with you. A real god wouldn't need us as part of her plan.
You'll never make it. And even if you do, what could you possibly hope to? We'll do what we were always supposed to. We'll take this blade and we'll sink it into her heart. Look at the way everything's being flung around her. If we just throw ourselves in her direction, I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe none of this is real. Maybe we can do whatever we want to do. With a forceful tug, you yank the blade out from the tree. You close your eyes and take a deep breath. And for a moment, you can feel everything around you, like you're a part of everything, and everything is a part of you. And then your eyes open, settling on your target. It's time. You launch yourself towards the princess. You can feel her gravity envelop you, carrying you from the ground into the violent swirl of her orbit.
Even now you defy me. Do it then. Show me what you think it takes to end what's destined to end everything.
Yeah, do it. Show her.
Why do I feel so cold?
No. Where did she go? She's gone. Is this the end of the world? Did she end herself? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
I don't know, she went in, I don't know.
There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should. It's calling us. And not in a good way. I don't want to look at us. You're right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing. I should feel better with her gone. But I don't feel anxious. Does anyone else feel anxious? He is. Does that mean the world ended? Yeah. No voice needling us anymore. Feels good, but I also feel itchy. Cold. Figures the world would end and leave us with all this nothing.
वही एक ही ऑप्शन बचा अब तो
I'm
अप्रोच
begging
में
you, don't do this. It's different now. It feels, I don't know, final.
Something returns to the long quiet. It has surrendered its path of annihilation and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
You're that thing I met in space also.
Vague recollections, empty tunnels without a mouth. I am sorry if I frightened you.
बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस.
I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you?
साइकोलॉजिकल आंसर नहीं चाहिए ऐसे.
Thoughts without connections. A dim and nascent network. I wish to be more.
What do you think I am?
I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks. Yes, nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond. Perspectives to make my own. This one is dominance, a figure capable of bending everything to her will. She will make for a terrifying and divine heart. Do not mourn her, for she would not be able to mourn you. How can the world have ended if we are talking? You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us. I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I could not have trapped you here. I know only that they are. She is part of me, and part of me is her.
But you always the pieces are just making her bottom.
You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another ends? I'm sorry. There are some changes that can never be undone. There are some tears that can never be unshed. This is not a place that can hold a fragment of a concept. The moment she arrived here, she was going to return to me. I promise that it doesn't hurt.
Attack. Happens now.
Nothing, as we are. But I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom. I have not lived. More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home.
तो अभी हमने डोमिनेटिंग फाइंड किया, जो भी था वो फाइंड किया, तो एंड के लिए सारे फाइंड करने पड़े. What if I don't let you do this?
Then we will be here forever, as we are now. Unfinished, dry, hollow. Everything, until we meet again. You ask of things that cannot be done, to destroy.
भाई ढंग से बताओ ना.
How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated.
दो ऑप्शन है मेरे पास फिर. Make me forget I'm not going back. I'm not going back. Can we forget? Not going back.
If you need time, then I'll wait with you. You are as I am now, and forever is a long time to remain undone. I am not you, but I know that I would return before forever was finished. What textures will you weave for yourself to occupy forever? Will you place the images of you and I into a box for safekeeping? If you close that box, will you become another you in another world? An imaginary pattern repeating itself until it can no longer bear the weight of its hand-drawn cage. You'll always come back to the box, because you'll always want to know what it means to be you. I will be here waiting by your side until you're ready to return to mine.
क्या हो गया? प्लीज प्रोग्रेस सेव होना प्लीज।
You have returned to me. Though you were gone mere moments, I never left your side.
अच्छा वेट फॉरएवर करने को बोला था तो गेम ही बंद कर दिया इन्होंने। ओह नाइस नाइस नाइस।
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
You're on a path in the woods. You're here to.
ओके एक काम करता हूँ, अभी सेव कर देता हूँ इसे और बाकी कल खेलता हूँ। और भी काफ़ी सारी एंडिंग्स होगी इसकी, कल ट्राई करता हूँ सब करने की।